going on, you guys? Reckless Katana here. Today I decided to give y'all my little Magplar builds. I'm gonna say builds for this patch, and probably for next patch too. It's probably gonna be the same thing. Honestly, I've been running the same thing since my last Magplar build, pretty much. I mixed it up here and there, but it's all relatively the same shit, to be honest. And ironically enough, I became a vamp 2 days ago. Again, the last video I was a vamp, but right after that video I cleansed it because I was like, I don't even need this shit. And it's up to you whether or not you want it or not, you know? Alright, so let's get into some shit right here. So this build I got on right now, this is what the stats look like on the back bar, unbuffed. Stats on the front bar, unbuffed. I also do have continuous attack on right now, so be aware of that. This build I got on right now, it will work in BGs, open world, and dueling pretty well. You just have to change your skills up for between dueling and open world. And BGs and open world, I use the same skills, so it's really up to you. Anyways, the gear, I'm still using overwhelming. You could have this Nern or you could have this infused. I prefer Nern because I like my actual skills hitting hard. So yeah, I'm using overwhelming. People said that it quote unquote got nerfed. If anything, I think it got buffed because it gives me a little bit more sustain, and I think it complements the set I'm using with it pretty well for that. So for all my builds, this will most likely be the base set. Like this is the base set, right? My back bar, it's still the same thing. I'm just running 2 pieces of a set that gives me mag recovery. You could run whatever you want, but I do highly recommend to have your one-hander as powered and your shield as sturdy. And now you got to be aware that I can give you all the skills and all the builds to run, but it doesn't mean it will work for you, for the fact that like what I run isn't like the most meta shit. The class itself right now is meta, but to be honest, like if you want to be pretty meta, you gotta use like Curse Eater, Swift, and some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But I don't use any of that shit on my Magplar because I don't know, I don't need it. I haven't changed my Magplar too much every single patch. So anyways, so this is for the all-around build. I'm running Scoria. You could run Triglyphs if you want. Again, I don't use it because I mean this gives 1 max health. I have Undaunted and shit like that, so I don't see a need to use Triglyphs, but you can. And I use Tri-Stat Food. So, and my other set is Seducer, and it's all heavy. So this is a heavy armor Magplar build. Seducer is a pretty good sustain set. I was trying to put Lich on my Magplar. I've been trying to put Lich on my Magplar for a grip now. Last time I had Lich on it was when I used to Resto dual wield. So it's been a long time without Lich, and this is the last. This set right here feels a lot like Lich, and I'll tell you another reason why. So this is my jewelry. You can make it whatever you want, but I do have a reduced cost on this. So that's what I'm saying. Why my set feels so much like Lich, because I got overwhelming that gives a little bit of sustain right here. And then, so 15% of the damage you deal this way is restored to you as Magicka. So that's one. The reduced cost on this ring, plus all this shit right here, plus my one-handed shield being the 2-piece being mag recovery, is pretty nice. Now, for dueling most of the time, I just run 1-piece Pirate Skeleton, 1-piece Chuden, and then I put full spinners and Triglyph on the body pieces, so it's just like the rest of the body would be spinners, right? Now my other setup would be with Rattle Cage, so I put full Rattle Cage body, right? And mind you, all 3 of these sets that are on the body, no matter what, the jewelry and shit I use is overwhelming. I've tested out Spell Strat as a front bar and shit like that. It's pretty good. I still prefer overwhelming though, because not all the time is Spell Strat the most reliable thing, and overwhelming really goes well with Seducer. So I don't know, Overwhelming's always been my thing on my Magplar, so I just keep overwhelming. But yeah, so good sets to run for monster. You could do 1-1, you could do EG, you could do Scoria, you could do Grothar, or you could do Shadowrun. Shadowrun, I typically do it sometimes in duels here and there. I don't know. It always depends. Grothar I use more of open world. Scoria I use more of open world sometimes in duels and stuff. EG, same thing, I use more in open world, but sometimes I use it in duels depending on my setups I'm using. So for my Rattle Cage overwhelming setup, I'll put on Engine Guardian. And yeah, that's most of the build in the nutshell. I mean, you could obviously change it up here and there and put on things. I've tested out Bright Throw on my builds too. Honestly, anything really works with the Magplar nowadays. And I mean, it's always pretty much been like that. Because even though Magplar got these quote-unquote buffs and shit like that, like, they for sure got buffs, but they were always pretty good in my eyes, so I don't know. I think you could have worn whatever. But, Tri-Stat Food, you could use that. If you ever decide to use the Bright Throw build, make sure you use Spring Loaded, because that would give you the best, you'd have, a good stand pool. So I would do like Bright Throat with overwhelming with 1-1, because 1-1 gives a lot of fucking resistances. Like, this is my back bar, and then this is my front bar. So you can see it gives a lot of resistances. And even though I'm in heavy, like, I'll show you, with my for example, my dueling build. This is what my dueling build, the stats would look like. Let me see. I'll show you real quick, just so you guys get an idea what you guys getting yourselves into. So that's the front. This is the back. And mind you, this is me being in the room. So if I step out of the room, which most of the time you won't be stepping out of your room too much, but even when you do, it's more you're gonna be on the offensive. So that's the time when someone's gonna try to burst you anyway. So just gotta be on, 10 toes. So my open world skills, this is what it is: puncturing, toppling, purifying light, degeneration, soul splitting, devouring swarm, temporal guard, ritual, cleanse, channel focus, honor the dead, living dark, elusive mist. Now you could use whatever skills, honestly. These are just my preference skills. I've tried swapping this out for radiant oppression. It works well too. Same thing with solar barrage. It really just depends on how you feel like doing things. I just prefer soul splitting because I could hit multiple targets, and it is one of the best dots in the game. Plus I'm tying it with the other one of the best dots in the game. So that means my overwhelming is only going to be procced with my jabs, toppling, and purifying light, instead of having it procced more often, which is what I pretty much prefer. Okay, so my open world build is, my dueling build would be this. Now, I prefer this because Crescent is it's a fast little quick burst, plus the little 3 spurts it does to the little, what is it called? Them little spurts. I don't know what the hell they're called. But the additional damage it does, it really does help out with trying to finishing off opponents. I do this for the slowing down, and also that it's going to proc my overwhelming. So, yeah, and it increases spell crit rating right there. So, this and this is why I would use those in a duel, and I put elemental drain because in a duel most of the time people like using fucking siphoner and shit like that. So to be able to sustain better, especially if you decide to use the seducer build in the duel, the seducer Scoria one, you are most likely gonna need this skill setup. Honestly, living dark, it is so OP, but you could do fine without it. If you're gonna do in a duel, you do that. If you're trying to open world without total living dark, honestly, you could just put on another fucking skill. Like I'd put on like solar barrage or something like that on my back bar. So I pop that and then go into fucking busting niggas down. You know what I'm saying? So, um, let me see. Passives. I do all light and all medium. I mean all light and all heavy, just cause you know I interchange between the shit. If you decide to be a vampire, boom. Say if you don't want to be a vampire, you could always put on, which I used to use quite a lot, Race Against Time. It is still almost as effective. The only thing is that when you're running away doing this shit, people can still hit you decently hard, whereas if you use Elusive Mist, people can't hit you as hard in this shit. So that's why I prefer this, to be honest. I've been getting into encounters with a lot of people, so a little bit more than I could take on. So that's why I prefer Elusive Mist. Those are the passives I got right now. Make sure you get your alchemy passives. Yeah, I would say that's about it. I would give y'all the CP, but that's a little bit too much. I think if you're good enough, you should be able to figure out the CP. Just to make sure about your CP, let me give you something real quick. Let me just give a quick tip before I end this. If you're doing your CP, right? Let's think a little logically here, right? If you're gonna be in the open world and you're gonna need some passives, so look at the passives at the top, right? So maybe Reinforce might be a good passive to have, because you know when you activate block, you gain a damage shield that could also stack with your Psijic shield. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you need to have that. Maybe Exploiter might be a good passive to have when you're using Toppling Charge on a Magplar. Maybe. I don't know. Just saying. So I'm just saying, just really read the stuff at the top. You can pretty much gauge what you want to do, and really just read what each one does too. So like, obviously I'm not gonna put Befoul on my fucking Magplar if I'm not using anything that does healing reduction. And maybe, just maybe, I might put Reduce the Cost of Block, just because, you know, I'm a Sword and Board Magplar. So that's the build, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be dropping some gameplay on the build. So far I've done this patch. I also, mind you, I haven't been playing Magplar like the whole patch. I just kind of started getting back into it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe. Peace.